How are the leading marijuana stocks ETFs performing? Cannabis ETFs are one of the hottest areas among marijuana stocks. ETFs, or exchange-traded funds, have provided a solid amount of exposure for investors to take advantage of. But with this exposure come several pros and cons. The most obvious of this is that they follow both large gains and large losses. Because of this, ETFs can either be a great tool for cannabis investors or a great way to watch one's portfolio go down. But the real potential for these pot stocks come in the form of long-term investments. Depending on where you look, the cannabis industry is poised to see as much as $70 to $100 billion in sales within the next 10 years. This means the majority of ETFs could hold a large amount of these gains. The most popular marijuana stock ETF, ETFMG Alternative Harvest, is the first ETF in the world to focus on the cannabis market. This means that it has also become the largest ETF in the cannabis industry. But the news is not all good for this ETF, as it has lost around 65% of its value in the past 12 months. This is mostly due to the large number of losses we've seen from the top down in the industry. So this recommendation is meant for the future when the industry begins to get back on track. This index tracks several of the largest pot stocks in the industry. The companies that it holds include one that operates in cultivation, production, and distribution. ETFMG is one of the broadest ETFs in the industry, as it also holds pharmaceutical-related cannabis stocks. Marijuana Stock to watch, another popular cannabis ETF. Horizon's Marijuana Life Sciences is another one of the very popular cannabis ETFs. The company has a heavy focus on strictly pot stocks as opposed to a more broad reach like the ETFMG fund. This fund is meant to give investors exposure to the largest cannabis growers and the most involved marijuana stocks within the North American market. What makes it interesting is that it's headquartered in Canada. This means that it has exposure to the majority of the largest pot stocks in the cannabis industry.